on, y'all? I'm out here in my workshop this morning talking about power tools. It's Tuesday, which means it's time to pick a tool of the week. And this week I chose the PWRCore12 Compact Jigsaw from Skil. I've been using this jigsaw for a couple weeks now here in my shop, and I've got to say it has completely replaced this PWRCore20 20-volt D-handle jigsaw. The barrel grip on this thing, the convenience of the battery platform, and the features of this saw have made it almost the tool I grab for the most here in my shop. Whether it's breaking down lumber coming in the door, or it's doing some scroll cuts to make a jig, this thing has proven to be an incredible tool. So let's talk about it. My tool came as a kit, and in that kit you get the saw itself, of course. You get a metal cutting blade, a wood cutting blade, you get one 2 amp hour battery, and you get a charger. I've got another extra battery here just to show you. So let's talk a little bit about features really quickly. This is a brushless tool, which for those of you who don't know, it's a digitally controlled brushless motor, which usually equates to longer runtime and longer life in general. It's a very compact size. You know, if we compare it to their 20-volt D-handle jigsaw, you can see the size comparison there. Really no comparison. This has also got a big old 4 amp hour battery on it. If we take that away, still much more compact. It's also a barrel handled jigsaw as opposed to this D-handled jigsaw. Could be somewhat preferential, but at the end of the day, that form factor does make a pretty big difference in terms of how you use the tool. We got 5 speeds on this tool plus auto. We'll talk a little bit about auto when a little further on in the video here, but 1 through 4 plus that auto. And so that's going to determine how fast the blade goes up and down, obviously. You got tool-free blade changes, and so just the collet down here pulls open, you slide your blade in, and Bob's your uncle. The other features, you've got an angled bed, so an onboard Allen key allows you to change the angle of this bed, so if you would like to do some angled cutting, you can do that. It's got a built-in dust blower, which is really convenient to keep the dust off of the line as you're cutting it. And it's got 4-stage orbital. So if you're not familiar with orbital on a jigsaw, that is basically how the blade moves. At 0, the blade is going straight up and down. All the way up to 3, it's really orbiting, which allows the blade to remove a lot more material a lot more quickly. Leaves you a rougher cut, but you get through the cut more quickly. It's also got a halo light, which if you have not seen the halo light on Skil Power Tools, they also have it on their 12-volt impact. It is a phenomenal light that really lights things up and works incredibly well. I won't go through all the numbers right now. You can find them on the Skil website, skil.com, and get that info for yourself. I'd like to talk a little bit about the battery platform. If you're not familiar with the Skil battery platform, well, you're about to be, number 1. And number 2, you're about to be impressed. The PWRCore12, Skil has 3 different levels at this moment of PWRCore platforms. They have the PWRCore12, which we're looking at, the PWRCore20, which is a much bigger 20-volt battery, and then they also have the PWRCore40, which is a more recent addition to the lineup, and it is powering things like mowers and other tools. Now, what makes this PWRCore platform unique and impressive is that they have put onboard USB ports on their batteries as well as their chargers. So while you're charging your tool battery, you can charge your phone or other USB controlled or chargeable device. That is incredibly handy. Another feature of the PWRCore is this power jump charger. This gives you 5-minute charging from 0 to 25%. So in 5 minutes, if you run this battery dead, you can have it ramped back up to 25% or better in some cases. And that is an incredible feature. I can't tell you the number of times I've used that where you've got to make one more small, simple cut. You're rolling up tools for the day, whatever it is, and all you need is that little jump to get you back on the job and get you finishing what you started. In addition to the overall features of the battery, the one thing I will say about Skil is that they're adding more and more tools to both the 12 and the 20 volt platform. Over time, they have added tools like this jigsaw. They recently added a workshop blower and a number of other tools that continue to impress me. Overall runtime on these batteries, I've been using them in my shop now for almost a year, both the PWRCore12 and the 20, and they have been holding up to some of the other brands. Thus far, I have been thoroughly impressed with the battery platform. So what's the take home? What are the hits? What are the misses? Where does this tool shine? And where could it use some work? The first feature I think that makes this tool a win is its size. The ability to grab this thing by that barrel and have full control of it really makes this a much better option in my mind than these old D-handle jobs. I like a D-handle. It's got a lot of power and all of that, but at the end of the day, it's really handy to be able to hunker into a cut with your hand fully wrapped around the saw and really following that line closely. Another big win for me on this saw is the light. I think lights are somewhat underrated in terms of tools. There are some tools I have with terrible lights, and that ability to see that line is critically important, and this ring light really does the job well. It is really hard to talk about these tools without talking about the battery platform, and so that's clearly another win for this jigsaw. As with all tools, there are certainly some areas that could use some work. Number one, the power switch being here on the side. I do like it, and I haven't had a massive problem with it, but at times it can be a little tricky to reach around and grab. I mean, your thumb is kind of always there, but at the same token, when this thing's vibrating, shaking up and down, it can sometimes be a little tricky to grab for that switch. So that's a slight miss. The other thing I've noticed is that at times when you turn the saw off, the collet here pushes all the way up tight against the light here. It kind of retracts back in. And at times that can make it really hard to get the blade on and off. Now this is loosening over time as I continue to use it, and so maybe that won't be a problem down the line, but it was something I had trouble with maybe once or. I think that's going to about wrap it up for this Tool Tuesday. I'm going to try to do these every week as I get a lot of tools coming into the shop. I've got to run inside and make some breakfast for my boys and give my beautiful wife a hug. I hope everybody has a great Tuesday and get out in your shop and make something.